These private groups advance charities, practice various benevolences, do all they can to increase the cultural advantages of their members and often of non-members. We have another group important to consider in the light of the ways of the ancient man. This golden age of the Greco-Latin culture, most countries have their own religion, their own temples, their own sanctuary. And these religions were financed by the state and were made available to the people. The citizen of their country, in good standing therefore, worshipped the gods of his country, defended them, and sought from them such help as he might need. Those days, the general attitude of mankind on religious matters was to effect that religion and the state were identical. Any attack against the state was an attack against religion. Any opposition or attack upon religion was an attack upon the state. And indeed the total society. Behind the state religion of these different areas was always the secret society. These were composed mostly of scholars, philosophers, sages, travelers, educators, persons whose knowledge of their own religion and the religion of other people exceeded that of the average citizen. Therefore, these various faiths, apparently isolated, were bound together by a network of mysteries or schools of common initiation. The traveler on the level of the secret society, gaining from Greece to ancient Egypt, found that he was not traveling from one religion to another, but from one interpretation to another. He is therefore constantly reminded that in the core of things, the gods of all these groups were identical deities, known, however, under different name, worshipped with somewhat different ceremonials, but dedicated to the same principles. And the sciences taught in these different groups were identical, and hearts and the general knowledge were shared by all, regardless. Therefore, Pythagoras, 600 years before the Christian era, traveling throughout the world, visited and was received lovingly by over 20 religions, each of which accepted him without question and accepted his knowledge without question. Consequently, the general archetype behind this situation was that the local deities were bound together by a larger interpretation, and those who entered the secret societies became interreligious in their thinking. For this reason, actual war against any person or group because of religion primarily was extremely rare. Almost unknown. You did not declare war on a man's faith. You might oppose his political structure, which incidentally, of course, included his faith. You might desire his territories. You might seek to gain his wealth. But you did not openly declare war against his God. This was a situation which in many respects resulted in more favorable situation after a period of hostility, when peace was restored, the God concept set in again, and the divisions that might otherwise have been irreconcilable were often mended in this way. Secret societies, therefore, serve a great number of purposes and were more widely and generally used than we recognize. In Greece, every man and woman was entitled to initiation. Consequently, it was not uncommon for 25,000 persons to be initiated at one ceremony. It was therefore not nearly a small group, but the whole of the cultural pattern was invested in these principles. Naturally, there were smaller schools of specialized instructions, and by degree, these schools became trade schools and union schools, protecting arts and sciences. Protecting all other things, including crafts, demanding apprenticeships, and our entire concepts of the apprenticeships system as a means of advancing skill in art or science or craft. This alone, in the secret society, was the most common thing that were so organized. In early England, the tradesmen had their own secret society.